Alright, hey YouTube. Gonna do a video today on the daggers. This will be a joint video on this channel and on, what's yours called? Parabellum? Buck Knife?
Buck knife parabellum.
On Buck Knife Parabellum's channel as well. If you haven't caught right now, me, him, and Level 1 Goon all hang out, run together, and so we do different things together. So now you get to see some of that in the video. So as you can see on the table in front of us, we're going to be discussing the PSA dagger. We have two different examples here. We bought them when they were running a really good deal on the lowers themselves. So we bought them as stripped, not stripped, completed lower frames, and we just had to get the slides for them. And jumping into it, that's what we're going to start with, because with mine, I had a small issue with the slide. Helps if you push the slide stop. So this is a aim surplus slide and barrel. Picked it up for I think $225 shipped, so not a bad deal. Came with a guide rod and stuff like that. When I got it, I was having an issue where the trigger, so it resets, would not reset, especially when you did like that. Resets there. That's barely in frame, but you can see it. So I had to do some work on the internals of it. I'll show you kind of what I had to do. So the first thing I had to do is take it off. Let's see if I can get you a good image down in there. So down, barely can see it. A little edge down in here was a little bit too long. So I take it out and Dremel that away. And then I had to do some other clearancing issues and wound up actually having to bend the trigger bar some to get it to start to reset. And once it started doing that, all I had to do was rack it a lot. So basically for about a month, every day when I got home from work, what did I do? Bumping the... if I hang up on somewhere else, got further back than that. But whatever. Every night when I got home from work, I would pick this up and rack the crap out of it after I did my Bible study, or while I was doing my Bible study. I started getting to reset really good, and then Buck Knife actually took it to the range with some of our other friends. We saw some of that footage on Level 1 Goon's channel of him out there shooting these, and after that, triggers resetting good. So it's just a little bit of a fitment issue, which I don't hold against the dagger, just because looking into it, a lot of the Gen 3 clones that are like this, where you can buy the frames and build it out, will have a similar issue with it. And I do think it was a little bit of tolerance stacking with this aftermarket slide, which is for the Gen 3, Gen 4, I want to say. I have to look back at it to be sure. But yeah. So it works good now. We'll get into how it actually ran at the range, because there were a handful of issues. We're attributing that more to the shooter at the time. But yeah, so I'll let Buck and I talk about his a little bit, and we'll get into the range portion.
Yeah. So we got. Yeah, we both picked the. What's that?
So use both hands.
Yeah. So we both picked up the frames. They were like 60 something shipped before FFL transfer fee. It was like 61.
Yes, yeah,
because they had like it was like 49.99 on sale. Yeah. I ended up going with. Oh, there we go. I'm looking at the camera. I ended up going with the dagger, like a PSA slide, which I really wish I would have thought to. I have the box. I think it's like the SW2. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah, that's what it should be.
It's got the co-witness sights. When I actually finally got this thing all put together, my wife was like, "Oh, it's Master Chief colored," and I can't unsee it. So now the rest of you will now not be able to unsee it. Before I was actually able to take it to the range along with that one, I was sitting there, dry firing with it, just playing with it, and front sight post started to come loose.
You still see that?
No,
you can't really see it on camera.
Yeah,
it's still a little loose.
Focus. It wiggles ever so slightly. So put a small little bit of Loctite on it, which, looking back, it's the wrong Loctite. And I don't have a front sight tool at the moment, so I tightened it down with needle nose pliers. Went, all right, cool, good to go. Went to the range, dumped 6 mags, got this thing really hot. And after the 6th mag, the front sight post was gone. Thankfully, level 1 Goon was out there shooting with us, and yeah, he was the one that actually was able to find it amidst the dead grass and sand and everything else that was out there on the ground. So I screwed it in, like kind of hand tight, and I need to get some actual good Loctite for this and the sight tool. But as far as the actual function and cycling of the gun, there were 0 malfunctions in the first 6 mags, which modern striker fire guns isn't, it's not saying much.
That's what they all should be able to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Other than that, I didn't really have any issues with it. I like the way it feels. Fun fact.
Hang on, before we jump to the holsters.
Yeah.
Talk about it. This one at the range. This one's mine. I wasn't able to go with them, so another one of our buddies went because he's back from the missions field right now. So he went shooting with them, and we had 3 stovepipes.
Yeah.
With this one, yeah. So 3 stovepipes. We're attributing that more to the shooter than to the gun because we're pretty sure it was a limp wrist malfunction kind of thing. As when Buckknife here shot it, we didn't have any of the stovepiping issues. So we're pretty sure that was more of him not pushing the gun the way he should have. Yeah. He's a little out of practice. He's been gone for a bit, but
yeah.
So those are the only issues we had out of the guns at the range so far. We don't have a high round count through either one right now. And if anything does happen later down the road, we'll do another video on that and let you know what we're dealing with. But so far, we're both really happy with the range performance of them. And then staying on the range for a second, we'll talk a little bit about the magazines. So you can see mine are messed up a little bit. But these ones I got here are, should be KCIs. Let me see. Yeah. There's some kind of import magazine. I can't quite remember. I can't read it under the tip.
RWB.
Yeah, RWB. That's
Korean
right. I picked them up from Classic. But yeah, these I haven't run these. I have friends that have run these in other Glocks and never had a problem. And so far they run good. The only issue with them, I don't know why we keep putting these back in the holsters. The only issue with it is when it's inserted, it doesn't really want to drop free. It's really bad with this one. Let's see. You can see it does a lot of shaking and it finally comes out. But as far as range mags, these are great. And now Buckknife here, bring it up a little. He got factory Glock mags, and those do drop free really nicely in both of these.
You want to show that in yours?
Yeah.
So there.
If I push the button right, there you go. I don't like the Gen 3 buttons. It's too tiny. But it drops free in both the guns really well. Didn't have any cycling issues with that either. You'll see in his. See. Perfect function in there. So I would recommend for serious use of the guns, definitely go with the Glock OEM mags, just for overall reliability and things like that. But for range mags, I'm going to keep using those. And I'll be getting some of the Glock mags for the other, or for carry and things like that. But then going into holsters, we found out a fun little tidbit for them. We primarily carry Smith & Wesson M&Ps, the 2.0s. So we got compact and the full size with a compact slide on it. But yeah, so if you watch my EDC video, same gun that I carry in that, same gun Buckknife has in his EDC video. And so we're playing around with the holsters, and both of these are Bravo Company M&P holsters. Let's see if we get it to focus. There's the exact holster he's running, and this is the same one just for inside the waistband. Get that lighting right. Oh, I didn't even think about it. There we go. So yeah, and as you saw, we had these in there at the beginning of the video, and throughout the video we've been taking them in and out, and they do run really well in them. Like, we haven't found an M&P holster actually yet that these don't fit into. We've also tried the T-Rex Arms sidecar, which you'll see here in just a second, and the Tier 1 concealed. We tried dropping it in one of those as well, and it fits well. And that's the sidecar that Parabellum here runs. So I'll let you talk about that.
So this is my M&P sidecar. Cool thing about this, not only you're not in the video, you can go back on the floor. And I'm gonna go ahead and rack this so that way the firing pin doesn't go back and forth. So not only does that fit, and where's that? I had an M&P mag sitting here somewhere.
Here. I had to put those away.
So this is for an M&P, right? If it's a little tight without loosening the tension screws, but if I loosen those tension screws, this will fit even better. As far as on the range, reloading from it, just kind of pushing it in there and running, didn't have any sort of issues. I was still able to get the magazine out, no issue. Yeah, so the only M&P holster that the three of us being myself, Y, and Level 1 Goon, the only holster we have for an M&P that this won't fit into is his Safariland 737 LMNOP, whatever.
But that is more, from what we've seen, that's the sights, right? It's hanging up on the suppressor heights.
Yeah, more than likely. Yeah, because we weren't able to test on yours because you already put the red dot on there.
I hadn't taken it off, which I meant to do that the other day and I forgot. But, yeah, so for me, that's about all I got to say for them right now. Really pleased with the dagger's performance so far, even with the little bit of tweaking and fitting that I had to do with mine. And definitely want to get another one. Thinking I'm going to do a complete one this time, just to test that out. So far, these are looking like really good budget options, or spare blasters, whatever. So that's what I think about them. What do you think?
I want to get like 5.
Yeah, so Buck Knife likes them.
Yeah. Another thing we didn't kind of touch on, is I like this better than the standard Glock trigger because it's hinge trigger. Because I'm a M&P guy and I have been for a while, and there we go. And that hinge trigger, I'm used to that hinge trigger. I like it a lot.
Yeah, it's very familiar. And there's also the Grantham video that hinge triggers are superior. So
yeah, if you ever freeze them in dry ice, they'll still fire.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's our opinions up to this point on the PSA daggers. These are the full size frames because I don't think we actually mentioned that at the beginning. So it's the Glock 17 length frame with the 19 length slide. But yeah, as we go along with them and get some more rounds through them, we'll let y'all know how we feel about them later on as they're holding up. Probably do another video once we actually hit like 1,000 rounds through them or something like that, and just kind of show where and how they're holding up overall. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. Peace.